Welcome to the iRogya Wellness Podcast, your quick guide to a healthier life. In each episode, we'll explore practical tips and insights to help you on your journey to optimal health and well-being. Let's dive in.
Okay, so let's be real. We've all fallen for those fad diets, right? That promise of a quick fix. Yeah, it's tempting. But today, we're doing something different. We're going deep on Slenderiiz. They're all about, sustainable wellness, not just dropping pounds, which honestly is a refreshing change, right? But we're going to see if they can back it up. So Slenderiiz, it's not just shakes and drops, although they have those too. They're pushing this whole person approach. What does that even look like in reality?
It's definitely strategic how they're positioning themselves. I mean, think about it. The market's flooded with these quick fix gimmicks. But Slenderiiz, this document suggests they're aiming for something more. They're talking nutrition, fitness, even mindset. It's like they're tapping into this desire for a more, holistic approach to well-being.
Yeah, and they really hit hard on breaking free from those fad diet traps. In fact, a good chunk of this document is dedicated to, calling out the downsides of those common strategies, cutting out entire food groups, crazy calorie restrictions. Are they right to be skeptical of these methods?
100%. Scientifically drastically cutting calories or ditching essential nutrients. It throws your body completely out of whack. You might see some initial weight loss, sure, but long term, it usually backfires. You end up with nutrient deficiencies, a messed up metabolism, and then you're stuck in that frustrating yo-yo dieting cycle.
So Slenderiiz is saying, we're different. They're pushing for a more balanced, livable strategy. But how are they actually different?
One thing that stood out to me, and I thought it was a really good sign, is this idea of progress over perfection. Instead of these huge overnight changes, they're encouraging those smaller, gradual adjustments to build those long-term healthy habits,
Right. It's about making those lasting changes instead of just a temporary fix. And they really emphasize that in this document.
And that approach really aligns with what we know about behavioral psychology. Think about it. Trying to change everything overnight. Recipe for burnout, and ultimately failure, right? But Slenderiiz, they're focusing on those smaller victories, those incremental changes that feel doable, rewarding even, that positive reinforcement. That's what helps make those healthy habits stick.
It's like building a foundation instead of just putting up a facade.
Exactly.
So we've talked about their philosophy and all, but they do have actual products to sell, right? Shakes, those weight loss drops. And they really push that whole curb your cravings angle. Is there any science behind that, or is it just, good marketing?
Honestly, I think it's a bit of both. Highlighting craving reduction, it's smart marketing for sure, because let's be real, cravings are the biggest challenge when you're trying to manage your weight. But here's the thing. Slenderiiz actually backs up those claims, at least to some extent. They talk about ingredients like protein, fiber, healthy fats, and those are all known to keep you feeling full and stabilize those blood sugar levels, which is key to keeping cravings in check.
So they're tapping into a common pain point, but grounding it in actual nutrition science. Makes sense. But it does make you wonder, right, if they're all about managing cravings, is Slenderiiz even necessary? Can't you just eat a healthy, balanced diet and get the same results?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's a valid one. Look, nothing can truly replace a good whole food diet.
Right.
But these meal replacement options, like their shakes, they can be useful tools if, and it's a big if, they're used strategically. As part of a bigger plan,
Strategic being the key word.
Exactly. Think of them as a convenient option for those crazy days when you just can't make a full meal. Or even as a way to manage portion control. They can even act as a safety net, to prevent you from making those impulsive, unhealthy choices when you're tempted.
So it's not about relying on Slenderiiz completely. It's about fitting it into a more holistic lifestyle change.
Exactly.
One thing that I thought was interesting, though, Slenderiiz really emphasizes that it's not just about weight loss. The document talks about more energy, better sleep, better digestion, even clearer skin. That's a lot of promises. So are they really connecting this to overall well-being, or is this just a bunch of buzzwords?
I think it's probably a mix of both, to be honest. We can't ignore the fact that our minds and bodies are connected. When you focus on improving one area of your health, say your nutrition, it creates this ripple effect. It impacts other areas of your well-being too. If you're eating better, it can really improve your gut health. And we know now your gut plays a huge role in everything, your immune system, your mood, you name it. And then there's sleep, stress management. Those are so important for both your physical and mental health.
For sure.
So yeah, some claims might be a bit over the top, but that core message about holistic wellness, that definitely holds up.
It goes back to that idea of Slenderiiz being a lifestyle shift, not a quick fix. And they had this line in the document, kind of cheesy, but it stuck with me. With Slenderiiz, you gain more than a number on the scale, you build healthy habits that continue paying off. How realistic is that statement, really?
You know, that statement, cheesy as it might be, it really gets to the heart of lasting change.
So it's not about looking for that magic solution, right?
No, not at all. It's more about, like, finding a way to embrace a healthier lifestyle for good.
It sounds like Slenderiiz gets that kind of.
They do. And to be fair to them, they're not claiming to be some miracle cure. This whole document really stresses that gradual, holistic approach, which honestly lines up with what we know actually works for making lasting change.
So it always comes back to building those habits, huh?
It really does.
Yeah.
Whether someone goes with Slenderiiz or finds something else that clicks for them, that's the key to any real transformation. Forming those habits, those little things you do consistently, day after day, that's what adds up to those big, long-term wins.
We've covered a lot today. So for anyone just tuning in, what would you say are the biggest takeaways about how Slenderiiz is doing things?
Well, they're definitely onto something. I'll give them that. There's a real need out there for a more well-rounded, supportive approach to wellness, and they seem to get it. They're not afraid to point out those fad diet pitfalls, and they're promoting a much more balanced, sustainable approach. Plus, their emphasis on habit change and treating the whole person, considering the mental and emotional side of things too, not just the physical, that's huge. Honestly, those are definitely steps in the right direction.
It's good to see a program acknowledging that, weight loss isn't just about restriction. It's about developing a healthier relationship with yourself, inside and out.
Exactly. And we always want to remind our listeners, this document is just one piece of the puzzle, right? We're here to look at things critically, analyze the info.
Always a good reminder for everyone out there. Do your research, guys, and don't be afraid to be a little skeptical, all right?
Absolutely. 100%. And this document, it brings up some really interesting questions, like even if Slenderiiz's products aren't anything revolutionary, does their focus on those gradual, sustainable changes, does that offer a valuable shift in mindset? And what would you, the listener, need to see beyond this information to decide if Slenderiiz or anything like it is the right choice for you personally?
Such a good point. It all comes down to finding what actually works for you. Right? There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Nope, not at all. And your journey to better health. That's yours and yours alone. So take your time, figure out what you need, what your goals are, and never, ever be afraid to ask those questions.
Couldn't agree more. As always, we encourage all our listeners, keep those brains working, keep asking those critical questions, and keep diving deep into this world of health and wellness with us. Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the iRogaya Wellness Podcast. Remember, small steps lead to big changes. If you're curious about the products we mentioned today, you can find them all at irogaya.com. That's AIROGYA.com. And hey, use the code IROGYA15 at checkout for a 15% off discount. Please note that the code is not applicable for Europe, some parts of the Middle East, and South Africa. Until next time, keep taking those steps towards a healthier you.